Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, let's continue listening to Master YongHua's Dharma talks.
这样子呢，不管他说我们是怎么样，那么是根据佛所说的话去修行。
Like this, no matter what he said about us, we're cultivating according to what the Buddha said.
Okay. So the Master says, no matter what is said about us, is said. Doesn't matter who says it. Okay. He says, whatever people say about them, they were cultivating according to what the Buddha said. This is a very important statement. Okay, this came from a patriarch of Mahayana, a recognized patriarch by the prior patriarch of Mahayana. So he knows what he's talking about. A patriarch is someone who has studied the Buddha Dharma. He has learned and studied what the Buddha taught in Buddhism. Okay, so a simple statement like we're cultivating according to what the Buddha said assumes that he knows what the Buddha said. Do not take this statement very lightly, because he's basically saying what I'm teaching you is how to practice that's consistent with the Buddhist teachings. And it takes a patriarch to be able to recognize that. Not all monks are the same. Not all patriarchs are the same either. But the point is that at least the patriarchs, they know what the Buddha said. And what they say, what they teach is consistent with the Buddha Dharma. As contrast that to the people who speak nonsense. They make claims about the Buddha Dharma and they try to explain the Buddha Dharma in their own understanding, with their own confused mind. This is so important for you, disciples of Mahayana, to realize that you don't want to interpret the Buddha Dharma your own way because you're not enlightened yet. These patriarchs are enlightened. So their jobs is, first of all, read what the Buddha said, study the scriptures, and then interpret the scriptures for you. Whereas the non-patriarchs, they didn't necessarily understand or study the Buddha Dharma. My master, Master YongHua, he calls himself the Tripitaka master, meaning that everything he taught about the Buddha Dharma in the three stores, the Vinaya store, or the store of rules of morality, or the Sutra store, which is the store of the actual sermons of the Buddha, or the Shastra store, which is the collection of the teachings from the Bodhisattvas, the enlightened disciples of the Buddha. He's an expert in those things, meaning that he can interpret and explain them to you. Not many monks can be known as Tripitaka Dharma Master. As a matter of fact, none of his disciples in my generation can we call ourselves a Tripitaka master at all. They may be patriarchs. They may, he may have recognized someone as a patriarch, but he certainly is not a Tripitaka master, the second patriarch. He's not. There are lots of things he doesn't understand. Whereas Master YongHua he calls himself, I'm a Tripitaka master. Not because he's trying to advocate and promote himself, but it's to tell you that he understands about Mahayana. You would not be able to bring Mahayana from China to the US unless he understands all the 3 stores of Mahayana. Is that clear? So that's why it looks kind of casual and maybe somewhat lazy, but we study the teachings from the sages, from the people who know what they're talking about. Instead of studying and talking to you about things that people want to hear, things that are popular, things that will draw a lot of people, will bring a big audience. We don't do that, okay? So that's why at the same time, from your perspective, you need to be careful. You as if people who are interested in learning about Buddhism, whether you're Buddhists or not Buddhists, you should be careful as to who you learn the Dharma from. In Hinayana, I'm not part of the system, so I don't know, but they seem to have their own style of patriarchs or recognized successors to their lineages. But in Mahayana, we have patriarch lineages. Those are the recognized teachers. They are proficient teachers. For example, Master Hsuan has patriarchs in Chan meditation, okay? Meaning when they teach you Chan, it's consistent. It is good Chan, it's good techniques, it's good and sound fundamentals in Chan meditation. Okay, you can count on that. But you will not find people like Master Hsuan, where he's able to teach all sorts of, all the whole spectrum of Mahayana teachings, Mahayana techniques. So that's why we're studying him. That's why you, next generation, should be careful. Instead of speaking nonsense and try to interpret things yourselves, okay? The people, lay people have known to do that. The monks have known to do that, okay? And you know what happens? They do that because they have no wisdom. If they knew how dangerous it is for them to make statements about Mahayana, about Buddhism that are not correct, what happens is that they will fall to the hells. Master Hsuan says, a lot of monks went down to the hells, okay? They, like Devadatta during the Buddha's time, he taught the wrong things, he interpreted the Buddha Dharma very liberally, trying to replace the Buddha himself. As a result, he went down to the hells himself. A lot of monks and nuns nowadays, you may have a lot of disciples, may be very famous, but they're preaching the wrong Dharma. What comes to mind is many monks and nuns are preaching the wrong Pure Land Dharma door, by the way. Okay, to the point where it becomes more or less superstition now. Okay, more or less it's Hinayana Dharma door instead of authentic Mahayana Dharma door. Okay, so these people, they are doomed to go to the hells. Okay, and Master Hsuan has recounted an anecdote. He says one of these famous teachers went down to the hells, and he was suffering. He's being tortured, suffering day and night. And then on a sudden, he saw, hey, weren't you my disciple? And the guy said, of course, Shifu. I'm your devoted disciples. I follow you. I vow to make a vow to follow you wherever you go. And the Dharma Master says, who was being tortured in the hell, says, oh, you're so stupid. Those are the things you don't want to follow me. Okay? Because when I make a mistake, I fall to the hells, and you want to follow me, and then you also fall to the hells yourself. Okay? So it's very, very dangerous. So we monks and nuns need to be a lot more responsible. We can incite our followers for instructions or say the wrong things, promote the wrong things so that we fall to the hells and our followers also fall to the hells. Okay? So please be careful, especially lay people. We're very conservative. Stick to it. If you want to learn Mahayana, stick to the patriarch's teachings. That's it. That's the safest grounds for you. Better safe than sorry. Okay? So he says, Master YongHua says, we're cultivating according to what the Buddha said. That's a statement from him. Okay? It's a very kind and generous statement that the other monks of his times weren't able to say. Make no mistakes about it. He said it's for our sakes, not for his sakes. Whether you follow him or not, it's your choices. It doesn't affect what he does at all. Okay? So he says, never mind about the rumors out there. Never mind about what people have to say. He's not even criticizing them. I'm spelling it out for you. When those people say things, make claims about Buddhism, about what they know, think about it. Look at them. What have they done in their cultivation? Who are the teachers? If they teach Chan, how many years have they teach Chan? Have they taught Chan? How many enlightened disciples do they have? Are they teaching consistent with the ancient patriarchs' teachings? I assure you, whatever we teach you is still within the umbrella of the patriarchs, the Chan patriarchs' teachings. All right? That's how profound they are. Whatever Master YongHua teaches in Chan is still within the umbrella of the original patriarchs in the Wei-Yang lineage. Master Wei-Shan, Master Yang-Shan, Chan Dharma, okay, is broader than Master YongHua's Dharma even. Okay, and why would you want to believe people who can't even sit in full lotus, who can't even sit for 1 hour in full lotus? You think that Chan practitioners can become enlightened without really sitting in full lotus? That's why you have to be careful. You have to be smart. Of course you don't understand. There are lots of things about Buddhism that are so profound that you don't understand. However, you should be careful as to, you need to look at the credentials of those people who speak those dharmas. Just because your friends, because your parents listen to them, go to those places, doesn't mean that they are qualified to do those things. They're qualified to teach. And it shows. In Mahayana, we only have one standard. We practice in order to open our true wisdom. Means we practice in order to become enlightened. Then we can recognize the real Dharma. Until then, you can't. Doesn't matter what we tell you. Doesn't matter how hard you try. You cannot recognize the proper Dharma until you become enlightened. There's a rush to become enlightened. Okay? Until then, don't trust yourself. Don't trust people who are not patriarchs, Don't trust people who don't have a track record of practices. This wisdom is unfolded through hard work, through long years of practices. Trust me, it's not easy at all. Okay, continue, please.
我再告诉你们各位很重要的这个道理，无论他是说的愚痴话也好，说的智慧话也好。
I'm telling you this very important principle. It doesn't matter what he said is stupid or wise words.
咱们自己要看看自己是愚痴是智慧。要是愚痴，就应该学智慧。
We need to see if we ourselves are stupid or wise. If we are stupid, we should learn wisdom.
要是已经有智慧，应该不被这个愚痴所转，不被愚痴所转。
If we already have wisdom, we should not be turned by this stupidity, not be turned by this stupidity.
咱们自己要有一定的方针，向前去修行去。
Then we ourselves would have a certain method to move forward, to cultivate. 要有宅法眼，知道什么是是法，什么是非法。 Need to have the Dharma selecting eye. Need to know what is the right Dharma, what is the wrong Dharma.
Very good. Stop. This is what the Chinese teach us. The first thing you want to do when you want to practice, have any kind of spiritual practice, you need to have the Dharma selecting eye, 择法眼. Okay? That Pháp nhãn in Vietnamese, 择法眼 in Chinese. Dharma selecting eye, meaning that you need to have the ability to recognize the proper Dharma. The Chinese keep on talking about this. And my master now reminds us, because the first thing you do in Buddhism is to have the Dharma selecting eye. Okay? They keep on stressing this. Do they stress this in Korean Buddhism or not? They do. Vietnamese or not? I don't think so. Hey, old monk. Oh, he's sleeping. The Vietnamese don't stress the Dharma selecting eye. Okay? No. It's not about basic principles, basic teachings. It's about the Dharma selecting eye. You need to have the Dharma selecting eye. This is what the abstract concept of. You have the eye that's able to recognize whether this is the proper Dharma or not. That's what it means. That's what Chinese means. And that's a Mahayana concept. I'm checking with them to see who has it and who doesn't have it. I know, for example, in Hinayana, they don't have it. I talked to Hinayana teachers. They never mentioned this concept. For Mahayana, this is what we do. We remind you, okay? You need to have a Dharma selecting eye. Don't just blindly cultivate. Don't just go there and practice meditation. Don't practice a Pure Land. Don't practice tantras and so forth. Don't do that. The first thing you need to do is make sure you can recognize, is this a proper Pure Land Dharma door or not? Is it a proper chan or not? This is a proper tantras or not? This is a proper Vinaya or not? This is a proper, what's left? Teachings or not. Okay? That's very important. Before you plunge headfirst into it, you need to know, is this a proper Dharma or not? If it's not, back off. And I'm afraid the Chinese don't stress enough. The reason I have to spend time talking to you like this, because my master would not. He's a patriarch. He's not going to tell you, hey, you need to listen to patriarchs. You need to follow patriarch's teachings. It's just like, you need to follow me. He can't say that. So it's my generation, up to my generation to remind you. We are not patriarch. I'm no patriarch, okay? But we follow the patriarch's teachings. And you, in particular, be careful. I certify you to have some wisdom, but your wisdom is so limited. Don't try to interpret. You stick to the patriarch's teachings. Do you hear me? You put your hands together. I'm teaching you. It's very important. You keep on making that mistakes year after year. I've been very patient with you. You're not a patriarch. No one has recognized you as a patriarch. Therefore, shut your mouth. Don't interpret. Let idiots interpret. We don't interpret. When I say, I think this way because I'm telling you this is my own thinking, I'm stupid. I'm warning you already. I said, I'm no patriarch. This is my own personal interpretation. If this happens to contradict with the patriarch's teaching, follow the patriarch, don't follow me. Let's make it clear. Okay? Not only are we following the patriarch's teaching, we're following the highest level patriarch's teaching we can find. So far, we found this is the best teaching we found. Highest level, the most advanced, the wisest we could find. And when we have a chance to look into his predecessors, our ancestors in our lineage, Master Yang Shan, Master Wei Shan, okay? You notice how much deeper than their teaching is compared to his teaching. Why would you want to waste time learning about my teaching? My teaching is so shallow, so stupid. And my disciples' teaching, of course, is even worse. They learn stupidity from me. Don't be so proud. Don't be lulled to don't be fooled by these Vietnamese followers, trying to impress them. They have no Dharma selecting eye. You're not impressing anyone. Okay? This is very important. Don't waste time. I remember people who came to the Master Hsuan temple. They came from the non-Buddhist practices, tantra practices, mantras, and all those things. They came, and they said, "Oh, after years of practicing, you heard of?" I say this, I'm going to get in trouble with them. Hai Jing. Anyone heard of Hai Jing? When I was there, when I first started 25 years ago, Hai Jing was a rage. Okay? 1993, 92, I went to Rio de Janeiro. Hai Jing had a booth there. Okay? I saw her in person myself, a big portrait of her right in front of the booth in the Echo conference of the world. I even saw Jane Fonda there. Okay, but Haching was very big then, and so when I first started, she was the rage. People were enamored with her, and she's one of the more deviant teachers you'll find. When I came back here and I looked at the way she had these videos of her teaching, she sat there, okay, dressed in this nun's garb, Vietnamese nun garb style. The hair is that of a princess, curly hair, whatever. and then she would preach to this audience. I look at her and said, "You have no business speaking Dharma. Your level is too low. You're not enlightened. What are you doing speaking Dharma?" Okay? But why is it so popular? So the camera panned to the audience. I'm saying that, they're going to attack me. I get in trouble for having a big mouth, okay? Because I'm slandering them, practically, okay? And so the camera pans to the audience. I saw this audience. I said, "Oh, that's why. Why there's so many people following her? It's because it's not of her. It's because of her supporters down there that propping her up." Okay? They use these tricks and all these mantras, anyway, to entrap you. And so some of them came over to our temple and said, "I've been these years, I gave up my, my career, my family, my money to follow the spiritual path, and I found out that it's not what I wanted. I'm getting nowhere, so I'm back here. I'm trying to rebuild my life, to try, to renew my spiritual pursuit." And they struggle so much because they are being pursued by their pride teachers. You mortgage your souls. Okay? So they struggle so much. And unfortunately, we didn't have the skills to protect them either. So they were on their own left to their own devices, unfortunately. So anyway, so if you choose the wrong path, it's very hard to back out. They are very attached to you. They don't let go of you. Unlike us, the front gate is wide open. You can come in. Okay, you can stay as long as you want. Okay, no one's gonna keep you back. No one is trying to keep you here. You feel free. You're free to leave any time you like. Okay, but the non-Buddhist dharmas, they're very, very sticky. They hate it. They get very offended if you leave. Okay, not only my ex-disciples left, they also left with their own volitions, and even they left and slandered us as well. That's perfectly okay. Okay, not everyone can make it. Jewel Mountain question.
Jewel Mountain asks, the Koreans like the teachings from Master Shinhwa immediately when they read it. It seems like it's because they are heavily influenced by Seong Chol Sanim and other Mahayana teaching. Does this mean these people have a certain level of Dharma selecting eyes?
That's correct. What happened is that the Dharma selecting eye, the Chinese really don't do a good job elaborating this for you, because in a Chinese culture, they're so steeped with Mahayana principles. So they take a lot of things for granted that we can't. Okay? So one of the reasons, personally, that I'm so enamored with Koreans' Buddhism is the fact that the Korean Buddhists have very sound foundation. It's from these enlightened teachers. They have in the history, they have, in the recent history, they have, of interest to me, is they have Master Sung Cho, which is the 4th ground Bodhisattva, and Master YongHua, which is 2nd ground Bodhisattva. One teaches Chan, and one teaches Pure Land. So they have very, very good sound teachings, okay? Granted that at those levels, those teachers don't have the Mahayana teaching skills that we Weiyang people have. We Weiyang school, we develop training techniques it's very advanced, if you will, okay? Those teachers are not at the level where they can comprehend these techniques. But however, whatever they taught is very sound fundamentals because they are enlightened. Okay? So that's why their devoted followers have very sound foundations. And that's why they have a lot of potential. That's what interests us. It takes a lot of repetition before you begin to have a flavor. You begin to be able to recognize the Dharma Selecting Eye. You begin to have the Dharma Selecting Eye. It doesn't happen the first time. You have to keep on hearing it and hearing it and hearing it. And then one day you say, oh wow, that sounds right to me. The first time it's not going to happen. So yes, absolutely. The Korean Buddhism, to me, has so much potential for that reason, because we look for enlightened teachers and their disciples. That's why I go. Wherever I go, I look, I say, is this in Hong Kong? I went to Hong Kong. I was so enamored with Hong Kong because they had Master Sheng Yi. That's the highest level of Weiyang patriarch I could find. Okay? 6th ground Bodhisattva. Okay? So his followers are very, very sound. Okay? Very, very strong. Okay? And they cultivate, by the way. And then I went to Taiwan, for example, and I saw Master Su Hang, which is higher level than Master Sheng Yi. Master Su Hang is 7th ground Bodhisattva. Okay, and you can tell right away because of the way you look at their biography. You see how they progress. They all share the same thing. They all have to work their butts off. Okay, no one had it easy. They all struggle like hell to make it. Okay, so. None of them are born in a silver spoon in the mouth and have everything, offered to them. They have to work so hard, suffer so much to make it. And then so you look at their biography, and then you look at what I look next is their disciples. The enlightened masters have this common trait as well. They feel the need. They feel it's their responsibility to pass on their knowledge to the next generation, especially in a Chan school. What fascinates me is a Chan school is because the enlightened Chan masters, it seems to me they all are intent on trying to pass on that knowledge to the next generation. Whether it's directly or indirectly, they need to make sure that the next generation, is able to carry on the torch. Okay, so that's in a Chan school in particular is very, very clear to us. To me, is that my master, before he passed away, he passed on that torch. He passed on that knowledge. He made sure that the second generation has that knowledge before he went away. That's very, very Chan, very Chinese Chan that I notice. Okay? So that's why I keep on encouraging you to go back to the Chinese scriptures, Chan scriptures and Chinese teaching, because their patriarchs are very, very advanced. I'm telling you, Master Shenhua's level is nowhere near Master Wei Yang's level. Master Wei Yang's, I mean, those masters' levels. Okay? So that's why we keep on studying higher and higher level masters and then going in the opposite direction. YouTube question.
Master, do we need to be enlightened to have Dharma selecting eye?
No, you don't. We need to develop it. Because if you're enlightened, then you don't need a Dharma selecting eye anymore. Why do you need a Dharma selecting eye once you're enlightened? You know, the Dharma selecting eye is important for you during your cultivation. Okay, in principle, fundamentally, once you become enlightened, the Dharma selecting eye doesn't really is not necessary anymore because you know you don't even need to look. Okay, you know it's proper right away. It's only important to us low levels where we need to choose the right direction, follow the right instructions. That's so critical. Okay, and that's why while you're still developing this Dharma selecting eye, make it stronger and more accurate, stick to the proper teachings, the patriarchs, the Mahayana stuff. Okay? It's not about us, it's about these patriarchs. You don't need to open your stupid mouth. Just repeat the patriarch's teachings. That's good enough. You don't need your interpretations. Yes, Green.
Master, I have a short story to share, if that's okay. It might take a minute.
Sure.
I remember the first time I came to Lu Mountain Temple, I came to Saturday morning meditation. And I didn't know what to do. I just walked into Lu Mountain Temple and everyone was sitting very still in the dark. And I sat down and I saw you at the front of the Buddha Hall. I didn't know it was called the Buddha Hall then, but that's what I saw. And I sat down. I'm sure I didn't fit in, and you didn't say a word. I just knew as soon as I sat down, you looked at me and you just snapped one time and pointed at me. And the old monk got up and took me to see Venerable XJ in the beginner's class. And I spent about a half an hour with Venerable XJ. Then he took me back to the Buddha Hall, and I sat down and I started listening to you speak Dharma. And with all due respect, I remember this very clearly. I saw you in your brown robes speaking to people, and I remember this very clearly. In my mind, I thought, Peter, this is the closest you're ever going to get to learning from a Jedi master in your life. Sit down and listen. And I've been here ever since, Master. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing it with us. It means that it's not the first time for him. Okay? We've been revolving in the wheel reincarnation for so long that we realize that it's so difficult for you. There's so many teachers out there and so much information that it's confusing. Yeah. But if you listen, eventually you'll be able to recognize what's right and wrong, okay? And stick to the patriarchs. It's that simple, okay? I admit to you, I didn't know when Peter came to the temple, I didn't know what to do. I was experimenting. So I said, hey, haven't tried the other guy first. Otherwise he'll run away very quickly, So I experimented, but I lucked out in a sense, in a way that I chose to stick to the patriarchs, because I remember my master's admonition. He says, when you are within my temples, I will protect you. If you say the wrong Dharma that will make you fall to the hells, I will protect you. I will fall to the hells for you. And after I left the association, I still remember that. He told me to teach, but he didn't tell me that he would protect me. So I'm very careful. I said, heck no, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not falling to hell for these people. Trust me. So I decided very quickly, very early on, to stick to the patriarch's teachings and adhere to them. Okay? Yes, and a hand. Give a microphone, please.
It was go back to the first time real quick. Is for Meetup. I find you guys from Meetup, right? And going back to the was not we are not here. We're back to that temple. And then when I first walk in, the two venerables, Venerable Xiangxin and Xianyan, because they are from Taiwan and they were doing Chan. And then this is my confession, okay, kind of like. And then I thought, are you guys related to Fa Gu San, the one in El Monte, or the 星言法师在台湾的嘛, the one Taiwan 星言, because because they're really big on Chan. So I thought like, are you guys another temple of that? So anyway.
Yeah. Sheng Yen Fa Shi is very well known in Taiwan, and he teaches Chan. That's true. Mm-hmm. It's one of the four big Dharma masters in my generation, okay, and my master's generation. Yes. All right, YouTube question.
Diego asks, how can we develop the Dharma Selecting Eye?
By listening more to the more dharmas, you will find plenty of videos, plenty of references, plenty of teachings and lectures on the various topics. Okay, and stick to the fundamentals. Are they from? You look at the sources. I always, I'm from academia as well, so I look at the references. Where are they from? Who's their teacher? Okay, and stick to the patriarchs. That's all. And then eventually, another thing I look at is their disciples. I cannot tell my master's disciples, but I could tell that his disciples are pretty good. They're walking around, I'm cool, I say, oh yeah, you're much cooler than the other monks. To me, that's good enough. Otherwise, it's a lot of words, a lot of pompous, a lot of pomp, and a lot of things that people try to impress you. These teachers, they're not trying to impress us at all. All right. Anything else? Continue. It's an ongoing process. You need to be aware. The concept here is you need to choose a proper dharma. So stick to the patriarchs, starting out, and go from there. Learn more and more of that patriarch. If he's a known patriarch, learn from him. And when you run out of things, keep on regurgitating that instead of going to the next guy that sounds good. Okay, and then you meditate on that, and then eventually you see for yourself. That's how you develop this eye. Okay.
那么也不会被这个愚痴人的所迷。那么要常常的存一种谦恭和蔼。
Then we won't be deluded by these stupid people. Then often need to have this kind of humbleness and kindness.
Okay, so the teachers are humble. Okay, to me this is very important. because this is the United States, the 21st century. We no longer from the established Asian traditions where we monks and nuns are supposed to be on a pedestal and for you to serve us and kowtow to us. That doesn't work anymore. Not in this country, not in the modern days, not in your children's, not the younger generation. They don't buy into it. Agree or disagree? So the old model of us being out on a pedestal and for you to serve us and that we have the right to ask for things. That's a lack of humility, by the way. Monks and nuns have no business asking for anything from anyone. Because if you're really humble, you should ask yourself, what did I do to give me the right to ask for support, to ask for things from others? It's wrong for monks and nuns to assume that we deserve the right for people to give us money, people to give us food, make the 4 offerings of food and clothing and medicine and shelter. We have to earn it. It's my opinion. Because, in particular for me personally, because I have no one to back me up. So I have to earn everything. I want to make sure I earn everything. I want to make sure that you, next generation, want to earn everything. That's true humility, not fake. Ask yourself, what did I do to deserve this? What did I do to eat this bowl of rice? What did I do to earn this kimchi? That's the Buddhist practice. My master reminds me, you eat 1 grain of rice and you don't earn it. We have to repay it by wearing horns or hair, meaning we have to be a beast of burden in the future to pay back the donor's grain of rice. It's very scary, trust me. That's what guided me. When I left, I said, I'm going to earn my way through. Okay? If I can't earn it, I'll return to lay life. Okay? That's humility, not humbleness. Is there a humbleness word in English? Humility. Okay? Kindness. What about kindness? Kindness is wisdom. The more wisdom you have, the kinder you become. You want to even reach higher level of wisdom, you have to be kinder. So I don't look at a person who are smart, who are educated, who are handsome, who are pretty, who are accomplished. I look at how kind a person's heart is. I look at how compassionate this person is. When you hear people who are suffering out there, the older people who go hungry, children who are starving, what did you do? Where's your heart of compassion? That's what differentiates the higher level monks from the lower monks. What I'm talking about, I apologize to Koreans because this is very important. Kindness is required for the Koreans' next generation, your generation, that you need more kindness in order to surpass your predecessors, Master Sung Cho and Master YongHua. They are not kind enough yet. I'm sorry if I offend you, Koreans, but monks and nuns need to be more kind, more compassionate. That's a limiting factor. It's not how smart you are, how young you are, how old you are. It doesn't matter. It's the size of your heart in here. That determines your level of wisdom. Continue.
对一切众生，咱们都大慈平等。
Okay.
他说我们好不好，这都是我们的善知识。
So we treat all living beings with great compassion and equality, whether he said that we are good or not. They are all our good-knowing advisors.
Can you see that, Go Yin? Huh? Our teacher taught our generation about compassion, about kindness. That's the proper Dharma. That's why I look at all my peers, my generation, how kind you are, how compassionate you are. That's why he taught. It's not about right. Did he teach about, I know, I'm right, I'm better than you? No, he taught about kindness, humility, kindness, and compassion. Not about we know more, we have more money, we have bigger temples, we have more followers, we have higher samadhi than you. No! It's kindness and compassion. What happened? That's why I failed to see when I went to Korea. Not enough kindness, not enough compassion in the teachers. When I look at my master, I look at a being of so much kindness, so much compassion. I don't know what happened to my generation. We're so worried about building temples. We're so worried about keeping our disciples, our followers, that we fail to make our heart kinder and more compassionate. Continue.
他说的有智慧的说话和这个愚痴的说话，我们能认识，这都是我们的善知识。所以
What he said, wisdom or stupid words, we can recognize this is all our good-knowing advisors.
能看一切众生是我们的善知识。这个善知识又有两种。
So we should see all beings as our good-knowing advisors. This good-knowing advisor has two kinds.
这个善者是可以违法，我们就照他小去；不善者，我们可以。
This good one can be the Dharma, then we learn from him.
拿它做一个戒示，就不效法他这个样子。能这个样子呢，对任何的事情都没有问题。
The not so good one, we can use him as a precept master and do not follow his way. If we can be like that, then nothing is a problem.
也可以说是用那英文 as 的形容可以了。
In English, is everything is okay. Okay, today let's not say any more right and wrongs.
Okay, is this the end of the tape? Okay, the end of this part. Okay, very good. Okay, let me assure you, what he's just taught here is very, very advanced. That my second generation does not understand. I assure you. Okay, it sounds so simple. This is extremely advanced Chan Dharma. So he, a few slides ago, a few minutes ago, he talked about if it's a good Dharma, follow. It's a bad Dharma, don't follow. Okay, and that's the typical Chinese interpretation of right and wrong. Okay, I happen to follow this for a long, long time. It helped tremendously in that, if you know in your heart is right, then follow it. You, yourself, your instinct tells you it's okay, then follow it. It's not okay, then back out, don't follow it. That's common sense. Okay. However, the Chinese way of, the Chinese approach has a limitation. Because I saw in my generation, we say, we know that it is so and so because that's what the teacher says. Okay, I just told you, the last few slides, the Master YongHua that we transcribed for you in the tape is extremely advanced, that my generation does not understand, let me assure you. They don't understand. So therefore, how do you know what is right or wrong? You can't. Stop it. Don't follow the Chinese. Let the Chinese stay and do the things in China. Okay? I would stick to the patriarch's teaching. Don't worry about right and wrong. Don't worry about righteousness. All right? You follow the patriarch's teachings, and then if there are discrepancies, you look at the person who makes those, who speaks. What are his or her credentials? If the credentials are not good enough, throw those comments out. Stick to the high-level person, because even the patriarchs have very different levels. Master YongHua's level happen to be very, very high. That's why I choose high-level patriarchs, and if the lower-level patriarchs' explanations are in contradiction to the high-level patriarch, I throw them out. If Master YongHua's explanation is in contradiction to Master Weishan's explanation, I throw him out as well. I'm ruthless. That's called Dharma Selecting Eye. Is it clear? These patriarchs have been recognized by the Buddhas. and the high-level patriarchs before them. It was safe. Don't ultimately follow your thinking. And you say, oh, I feel this is right, this is wrong. Forget it. You cannot trust yourself. That's what happened to my master's disciples. They're not enlightened yet, and they try to interpret. Even like I said, the last 3 slides he talked about is no way to understand what he's talking about. And that's not about right and wrong. And that's why you have stupid people trying to interpret the sage's words. Enlightenment happens to be here and up there in terms of levels. Master Wei Chan is way up there. Can't even see. Master YongHua is up at the roof, but Master Wei Chan is way above that. How are you going to see? His level is down here. And you try to interpret the sage's words? Stop it. Stop wasting time. Yes, comment on YouTube.
Cordelia says, when I interact with people, I try to see the good and the bad in a person, what I can learn from them, but this is feeding my discriminating mind.
Stop reading people. Cut it out. You're not as smart as you think you are. Oops, it doesn't sound good, does it? Stop it. There's no need for that. What happened is that you choose, this person here chooses to use her thinking mind to discriminate. Okay? That is a mistake. No need to do that. If she could simply stop doing that and relax. Okay? Stop discriminating. What happens is when you do that, is that your true, much better discriminating mind, the one that doesn't think, will give you more clues than your discriminating mind. It's an act of faith. Okay? Because I remember when I was younger, I first started. My brothers used to be so afraid of me because somehow they believed I could read their minds. As a monk, they came to, we get together and they said, he could read my mind. My mind has so many dirty thoughts. This is not you don't have any privacy near this guy. It's not true, by the way. I cannot read people's mind. I have no interest in reading your mind, by the way. You have no fear. Okay, nothing can be further from the truth. I absolutely have no interest in reading people's mind. Trust me. Okay. So anyway, like this lady who asked a question, he says, I will judge them and I will probe them and, and then jab them and see what they're going to do and that kind of thing. It's still based on a discriminating mind. So far, so good. I just offered you another thing, another skill where we actually don't get fooled by your words, where you can read the mind and say, this is what you're thinking, but it's not consistent with your mouth. So you're lying. Okay, even with that, okay, it's still not something you want to depend on. You know why? Why not? Because my brother, when he realized that, he believed that I could read his mind. You know what he did? He started thinking funny things in his mind whenever he nears me to confuse me. Think about it. My family is evil, let me tell you. I have the best training. You see? So my point is that I know it's funny to you, but so once this lady starts, scrutinizing people and reveal it, people will put on an act. That's all. The most dangerous people is the people that are so relaxed. When you're near them, there's no tension whatsoever. Someone just showed me a photo of this Korean publisher of Buddhist books. And she says, "Does this person look like a business person to you? Do you have that photo or not? Huh? Can we show it on the thing? It's so cool. Does this look like a business person?" It's like a rhetorical question. Does this look like a business person who can handle the Korean publishing business? Okay, over there. And he published so many Buddhist books. Throw it on the screen. Let me show you. This is my translator. Does this look like a business person? Do you have it? Oh no. Darn it. We lost a signal, has disappearing messages. Okay, let me give you the answer. Too bad you don't have the photo. You have it? Blow it up. Oh, this is so cool. It's okay. Just blow it up. Just. Doesn't matter. It's better when it's blurry. Then I can say anything I want. Got it? Mm. When you pay attention to this is a very important point. I was a salesman. I was trained to sell. So I recognize salespeople a lot better than you can. Okay? So it's funny, someone asked me, "Does this look like a business person?" I said, "You asking me?" Got that? Blow it up, okay? YouTube question, quickly. I need to close.
Yeah. Hung asks, if you didn't read your brother's mind, how did you know he was thinking funny things?
Maybe a few moments only. Touché. Do you have the photo? You couldn't? And who is the smart aleck who asked the question?
As Hung.
Hung? Oh, well, it's Hung. No, that's a different one. I apologize. My lectures are totally unprepared, very unprofessional. It's spontaneous. I chuckle because I look at the text and say, does this look like a business person? I say, you want me to answer that? Do you have it or not? It's a photo, so it probably takes a little bit longer to load. But we should have pretty fast internet connection. So the reason I know that my brother was playing games with me, because later on, he told his younger brother to say, you make sure when you go near him, he can read our mind, so make sure you think weird thoughts. That's how I know they're playing games with me. Nothing? Good Lord. I'm so sorry. I think we just drop it. That guy, yeah. There you go. Okay, here we go. You tell me. You people, especially the girl who asked for, I look at people and I judge them and I probe them, Does this look like a business person to you? Yes, Black.
Master, I want to clarify that she didn't ask that question.
She didn't?
Yeah, I just want to clarify that.
So what did she ask?
She didn't ask anything. She just shared the picture and has some description of the guys, which I don't want to share right now.
Okay. Does this look like a business person to you? You tell me. Who thinks he's a business person? Who doesn't think he's a business person? Who thinks he's a business person? 1. So 1 to 0. Huh? Is he a business person or not? Yes, Blue.
I think it's the same line of questioning Warren Buffett as a business person.
So what did that interpreter say? What's the question? I thought I saw in the no. He's a business person. What are you talking about? He's a very smooth salesman. Very, very smooth. Okay? Not as smooth as he could be. He could be a lot better. But he's a salesman. Okay? You think all the books here on the bookshelves that he sold, he could sell without selling? Right there. It's the proof right there. Huh? Agree or disagree? These are his books. At least many of them are his books in Korean. How can he sell so many books without selling? How is it possible? Praise to God. The better salesmen are the people who don't appear to be selling to you at all. Okay? All right. Thank you, everyone. Next time we start a new tape. Okay. Thank you. And that's what you need to do to sell Buddhist books. Appear as if you're not selling. Yes, Green.
I'm not being offending Korean culture, but I'm being being real to you and everybody. If he holds a bowl of kimchi, and I will look for the brand and I will buy it. Seriously, because I personally, I love kimchi.
I see.